they can go through the video. Okay, so most of you have already completed this pre-training survey, and thank you so much for taking time and completing this survey. Many of the students from this survey, what I understood is they are from non-IT background, most of the students, and they do not have knowledge on the testing concepts. So that, what I'll do is I'll start from zero. And today's session specifically 50% theory and 50% demo I planned. And going forward, it will be 80% demo and 20% of theory. Okay. So let's get start with today's agenda. So today's agenda is first we will start with overview of testing. So here we will understand what is testing, what are different ways of doing testing, and why testing is required. And then we will move to Tosca introduction. Okay, so and then we will move to the Tosca introduction, where we will learn what is Tosca, what are the top benefits and features of Tosca, and how Tosca is different from other popular automation tools like Selenium and others. And also, why should we learn Tosca only? Okay, and then I'll discuss about the one real-time business scenario followed by two demos. One is with the manual testing and one is with automation testing using Tosca. Then we will discuss on next steps and the general FAQs from my previous batches. So last we have Q&A session to answer all your questions. Okay, so I will try to complete this today's session by 8 a.m. sharp. If not, please bear with me for another 10 minutes. At the end, I will answer all your questions. Okay, so I will also upload this video to YouTube. So if anyone not able to join this, they can go through the video. And I think we can start with the overview. Okay, so as I mentioned, in this section, we will understand why testing is required and what is testing, what are the different ways of doing testing. Okay, so let's say you bought a phone or a laptop, or maybe you bought a car, or maybe a washing machine at home. You have some expectations. I'm hearing some noise. Yeah, let me mute you. Okay, so you have some expectations on that specific product functionality, or maybe the performance of that particular product, or maybe how it looks. So what if it doesn't work as per your expectations, or maybe features specified while you are buying that product? What happens if it doesn't work as expected? Very simple. You will be disappointed, right? You will never buy and recommend that product again to anyone, correct? So ultimately what happens? It would result in losing a genuine customer, or maybe losing business to the companies. So you take any company in this world, they need testers to test these products before they release these products into the market. So testing is very, very, very important. And testing is no more, it's a part of the project now. It is the process that every project, every company must follow. So that's why testing is very, very important. Okay. And now in our context or in our scope, we don't worry about cars or washing machines. Our scope is to deal with the software application. Now we have some general idea why testing is important or why testing is required. Let's understand the purpose of testing in software industry. So the primary purpose of testing is to identify. What to identify? We need to identify faults, or you can call it the failures, issues, defects, or maybe bugs, whatever you call it. You need to identify those issues within that particular software application. See, these names are different names based on a particular domain. They may use, failure, and some people they use issues, some people they use defects or bugs. The names can be different, but the concept here is same. The purpose of testing is to identify these bugs, failures, issues, or bugs of a software application. And finally, our end goal is to make that application defect free. Okay. So when do we say there is an issue or a defect or a fault? If something is not behaving or working as per the expected behavior, then we call there is an issue, right? Good. So now we know the purpose of testing. It is to identify defects. Now let's understand what is testing. So testing is a process to identify these faults, failures, issues, or defects or bugs within software application. I hope we all know what is process. If you need to meet a doctor, you need to follow some process. If you need to book a train ticket, you need to follow some process. For example, Tatkal tickets, you need to book exactly at 11 a.m. That is the process you need to follow. Similarly, to get a job, you need to follow some process. Like, you need to prepare resume, you need to upload your resume to job portals, or maybe you need to send your profile to known people. And then some companies, they may conduct exams, technical plus managerial interviews, HR interviews. And if everything goes well, you will be onto the job. So that is a process you need to follow to get the job. So a process is nothing but, some series of activities you need to do to achieve something. In exactly same way, within software application. So you have a software application, within software application, to identify faults, failures, issues, defects, or bugs, you need to follow some process. That process is called testing. So here maybe the unknown term for you is what is a software application? So on high level, let me explain you what is a software application. Okay, so it is a simple program. It is a very, very simple program which takes 0 or more inputs and performs some tasks for you. So as a tester, our job is to identify mistakes or issues within the software application, whether it can be calendar or calculator or MS Office applications, or maybe very large e-commerce applications, Amazon or Flipkart, or maybe some other famous websites like Gmail or YouTube, or your internet banking, State Bank of India. So these are all the different applications. End of the day, all these applications are programmed. These programs written by developers. So you need to identify what mistakes are there or what issues are there with that application. Okay, and some other applications are very popular: WhatsApp, PhonePe, GPay. All these are personal applications that we use every day. And I hope you all know these websites, right? So now you know what is software application. You know what is the purpose of testing. Now let's look at what are the different ways of doing testing. So there are two main types of doing testing. One is a manual and automation testing. So let's check what is manual testing. So manual testing is the process to identify defects manually. So generally, a human, nothing but a person, is going to test the application and they are going to identify the issues. So manual tester here would play the role of end user. End user here, nothing but the person who is going to use the particular product. So here, end user is nothing but the person who is going to use the application or a product. That person is end user. So as a manual tester, as a tester, I can say, as a tester, you need to be, or you need to think like an end user, and you need to test the application as per the business requirements. Okay, so In manual testing, generally what happens, tester will maintain an Excel with all the test scenarios. Anyway, I will show in the demo, so don't worry on the theory part. Okay, so tester will usually maintain Excel with all the test scenarios and test cases, where each test case contains, okay, what are the steps you need to follow and what data I need to pass to this particular test step, and then what is going to happen. I'll show you in in a demo. So usually, person is going to test that particular application manually. So this is how the Excel looks like. You have the test case ID, test case description. So this is a login scenario. So let's say you are trying to log into the Gmail. You will give valid username, valid password, then you will be able to successfully log in. That's the first scenario. And first of all, if you don't register, you will not be able to log in, right? So as an unregistered user, if users are trying to log in, it should fail. And then test with a valid user and invalid password. Again, it should fail. And test with invalid user and valid password, it should fail. Test with invalid user and invalid password. Again, it should fail. Only the successful scenario is if the user is registered successfully into the any website, and then as long as if he provides a valid username and password, nothing but valid correct username and password, that is what we call test data. So what is the precondition here to log in? User must be registered already. That is the precondition. And then a valid username and password they need to enter. And they need to follow some test steps here. First, they need to open the site, and then they need to wait until the page loads. And then, they need to click on the login page, and they need to input right username and password, and then they need to click on login. Then only the login will be successful. For each test step, we are going to calculate what is the actual outcome. So you try to open this site. Is it opened? Is it pass or fail? If it is pass, yes, you will mark it as a P or pass. And if it is failed, you will say it as a fail. Okay. So this is how generally, we maintain this Excel. And, there are some additional comments feed where you can take the screenshot and you can keep the screenshot here, or maybe you can add some comments. So this is how, these are the, some pretty standard columns. Maybe in some companies, they may add some additional columns like who tested this particular scenario. Maybe you will have another column tested by. Maybe you can have another column test date, at what time you did this testing. All those fields are additional fields, but these are pretty common fields. Every tester, they follow whenever they are doing the manual testing. Okay. So let's understand what is automation testing. So automation testing is also, similar process to identify the defects, but by using a tool. So here automation tester will not directly work with the application. They'll work with the tool and they'll guide the tool to test the particular application. Okay. So end goal is either manual tester or automation tester. We need to test the application features as per the business requirements. Okay. So let's, on high level, let's see what are the differences between manual and automation testing. See, manual testing is a very simple. If you are 10th class passed out, and if you have little bit logical and analytical skills, yes, you will be able to test the application. But before that, you need to understand the requirement of that particular application. Okay, so anyone can test here. There is no programming is required. Just there are some instructions or requirements. You need to go through the requirements and you need to validate the application functionality as per the requirement. But only downside is chances of human error. That's why, it is not reliable, and also it is time consuming, and more number of resources required, and companies, they have to invest on the people, and it is very difficult if you need to perform the repetitive tasks. It takes a lot of time and also not that much interesting. But For UI testing, yes, more or less, manual testing is little suitable, and batch testing is not possible. What is batch testing? If at all, if you need to, do testing of multiple activities at a time, then it is not possible in the manual testing. So whatever the downsides are there here, there are the advantages in the automation testing. So, but here, in general, you need a programming language in automation testing, but Tosca, you no need to have any programming knowledge. That is the beauty of Tosca. Okay, and obviously, automation testing is more reliable as it is done by the tools, and it is much faster than manual testing. I'll show you whenever I go to the demos, so you can identify the differences very easily. How much time it is going to take for manual testing and how much time what it is taking for the automation testing. And also it requires less number of resources. But the downside is, they need to invest on the tools. If the tool is open source, then it is very good. If it is not open source, if it is a license, then obviously companies, they have to invest on the tools. And this is a better option for repetitive tests. You can do it very quickly. And this is not good for UI testing because tools are nowadays not that much popular for UI testing. But there are some tools that are doing UI testing also, but it won't work in all the scenarios. Batch testing is possible. Okay. So in this particular section, we learned why testing is required and what is the testing and what are the different ways of testing and what are the differences between these two testing, manual versus automation. Anybody have any questions till now? Okay. Okay, Geetika, what is a UI testing? UI means it's a user interface. I told you, right? So whenever you buy a product, how it looks, that is important. For example, here you are seeing a screen, right? Learn beyond concepts on the left side. So this much from top, this much, yeah. So Sirisha mentioned it's a user interface testing. So this is the user interface for this presentation, right? So this logo exactly from left side this much width or from top this much, and what is the width of this logo, and 30% for title and remaining 70% for the content. This is a simple one I'm telling here, but UI testing is nothing but, for example, when you open any Flipkart or let me open. So if you open Flipkart, so here you are seeing the menu, right? So this menu should appear here. That all that comes under UI, exactly user interface, how many pixels, what is the font size and font colors, all are comes under UI testing. Okay, so now let's go to the next section, introduction to Tosca. So here we are going to learn what is Tosca and what are the features and benefits of Tosca, and then we can compare Tosca with other tools and why we need to learn only Tosca. Okay, so what is Tosca? It is a testing automation tool. You all know that it is a testing automation tool that is used to automate end-to-end testing for software application. So end-to-end means each and every scenario, each and every business scenario you can test with this particular tool. Okay, that is what end-to-end means. So you can test end-to-end, you can do end-to-end testing with Tosca. And Tosca is developed by Tricentis. I'm not going in detail what is Tricentis company, what are the other tools developed by Tricentis. Whatever generally tester does manually, all those things can be automated using this Tosca tool. For example, you can write test cases or execute test cases. Don't worry about what is test case. I'll explain what is test case, what are test scenarios in coming lessons. Okay, and how you can create reports. All those things you can do it using Tosca. And let's look at some of the important features and the benefits of Tosca. So the first and most important one is it's a scriptless. Scriptless means you need to write a single line of code, and it is a very simple to learn. Okay, it's a completely interface with some drag and drop features. Just you need to understand those drag and drop features. What are test cases, or what are requirements? How to work with different sections in Tosca. So all those things, once you understand, then without coding, you will be able to automate the functionality of any application. And this is a model-based framework. I mean, it's a Tosca is developed on modular framework. So what are models? I will explain you in the coming session. And high reusability. So once you create the test case, any automation tool, reusability is there, because you can repeat the same test case multiple times. Okay, but Tosca is a paid and licensed tool, but there is a dedicated support offered by Tricentis for Tosca, and there are many inbuilt reporting features are available, and you can write and execute test cases with literally zero coding. So you don't need to write a single line of code to write and execute test cases. And there are multiple aspects of testing. You can do, website testing, mobile testing, desktop testing, API, database. These are the, some of the important features I covered, but there are, many more benefits. You can work with even SAP also using Tosca. So here I'll talk about, differences between Tosca versus other automation tools. So when you look at the market share, majority of the share is by Tosca and Selenium. Other tools, they don't have much significant footprint in the market as of now. Okay, so let's compare between these two tools, Tosca and Selenium. So Tosca is it's a paid and licensed tool. Now they reduced the cost. That's why Tosca is very popular nowadays. And Selenium, it's a free open source, and this runs on only Windows operating system, but this one runs on Windows, Mac, and Linux as well. The beauty and advantage of Tosca is you can test different types of application. So earlier I mentioned, right, you can test the web applications, mobile applications, you can test the programming interfaces, APIs, you can test desktop applications, you can test SAP modules as well using Tosca. But Selenium only supports web applications. So in Tosca, you no need to have any programming skills, but here you must learn programming. Otherwise, you will not be able to, work with Selenium. That's a very big disadvantage for Selenium. And this one, Tosca is a very easy to learn. It's a behind the scene, it's a modular framework, but here this one is an advanced learning curve and completely code based this one. And here you have dedicated support. Here no support is there, just you need to you need to open the Google and you need to do the R&D. And there are inbuilt reporting capabilities are there in Tosca, and in Selenium there are no reporting capabilities. So more reusable concepts in Tosca, because this is a licensed tool, right? Obviously they'll offer all these things, and there is a support for deployment and adoption for this Tosca. Okay, so companies they have type with the Tricentis, and sometimes they also provide trainings. Tricentis they'll also provide trainings to businesses or companies. So these are the high level differences between Tosca and other tools. So there are different tools in the market. Even Selenium is there. Of course, coding is one disadvantage, and there is an advanced learning curve. But why should I learn only Tosca? So Gartner is a research company. I mean, I'm not sure whether you will be able to see this text or not. So this is a Gartner. This is a 2018 report. This is a 2019 report. I try to capture 2020, 2021, but unless you subscribe to their website, subscription is through, it's a paid subscription, you will not be able to get the reports. Many times it can be TCS or Wipro or Infosys or Accenture, anyone in this world, major companies, they go through Gartner and they'll present these reports or these diagrams to customers. This says which tool is better to use in the market, which is very popular. So if you see it here, Tricentis is here. They are leaders in the market. So this is the leaders quadrant. So usually Gartner, they divide every graph into 4 quadrants. This one is who are the players in the industry. I mean, currently they are entering into the market. And this one is visionaries, from the visionary perspective, how they are thinking, how they are working on the product. That is a visionary section. This one is leaders section, and this is challengers. See, Microsoft is here. Even Microsoft is also working on different products, right? So they are in the challenger section. So similarly, this is a 2019 data, and this is a 2018 data. So even here also Tricentis is in leaders area. And not only that, in enterprise end-to-end testing. So I hope you can see this enterprise end-to-end testing word. So Tricentis is in the top position. Okay. So Tricentis Tosca is one of the tools developed by Tricentis. Okay. So that's why, not only that, and also it is easy to learn, and the job market is good, and you can get the job very quickly using the Tosca writer. And also anybody can learn Tosca. It's not just, you need to have a computer background. Even non-IT background people also, they can learn Tosca very easily. But the only catch here is you need to have a little bit logical and analytical skills. That is important. And also you need to have some communication skills also. Okay. So here we learned what is Tosca and what are the features and benefits of Tosca. And, we compared Tosca with other tools. And I also covered why we need to learn Tosca. So any questions till now? Okay, so yeah, Pradeep.
Yeah. So this being a premium tool, and to my knowledge, this is being used by very limited companies or companies like Accenture, very big companies.
Correct.
Because not everyone can afford this.
Mm-hmm.
In that case, so a person who gains knowledge or have the training sessions and all done, how could they portray that they have worked on Tosca tool, unless they are from big companies like Deloitte or Cognizant or etc. Yeah, that's one question I have.
So that's a good question. 2019, the pandemic started, right? Since then, there is a huge demand for these applications to develop, because everybody wants to move to, they want to get into the digitalization. They want to automate their business processes. Okay, that's why if you look at the current market trend, it can be Accenture, Wipro, TCS, Infosys, or HCL. All these major companies, they are recruiting freshers heavily. You all guys know that, right? The reason is pretty simple. There is a huge demand from the customers, very huge demand. They want to quickly convert their applications or their business processes. It can be manual business processes or their Excels. They want to, move to this digitalization world very quickly. Okay. How they can move to the digitalization world quickly? One is all these companies, they need to develop and test very quickly. Okay. So if they depend on manual testers, it will not happen. Everybody, they have to use Tosca. Okay. and not Tosca, any automation tool they need to use. So coming to your question, see, earlier Tosca is not that much popular. Now they reduced this license cost because of the reduce because of the reduction in price. Many companies started using Tosca. Even not only large companies, even level 2, level 3 companies also, they started using Tosca nowadays. That trend happened since pandemic. So definitely you can happily say yes, you worked on Tosca. See, and another important thing is whoever takes the interview, the first thing is they want to hire the resource. That's the interviewer mindset. They don't want to reject it, because there will be a lot of pressure from HR side also. Because I do take interviews every day, minimum 2 to 3 interviews I take. See, we have to recruit people. There is a demand. With the demand, if the person is having the right skill set on Tosca, and if they have a little bit experience, definitely they'll get the job.
So Tosca, how long has this been into? I mean, maybe quite a couple of years, but since how many years has this been popular? Meaning, personally, I have 10 plus years of experience into manual testing, like database and everything, with limited Selenium knowledge. How could someone like me portray their experience in Tosca? How many years they portray?
See, generally all these companies, they expect at least 2 years minimum experience, or 1 year is also enough. But when you say 10 years of experience, I would suggest you can easily keep a 2 to 3 years of experience.
2 years.
Yeah.
But like you mentioned, sorry for asking too many questions.
No problem.
Like you mentioned, the costing of the tool has reduced, and that's one of the reasons a lot of companies are leveraging Tosca. So when this has actually happened, like is this recently or a year ago, or yeah?
It's around 2 to 3 years ago, Pradeep. I'm not sure exactly, because generally we don't verify those things, right? But at Tosca, they introduced this tool in 2014 or 2013 ending. It seems. I think Srinivas is asking that question.
2013, okay. So I mean, even before joining the session, the only primary question that I had was in my mind. Not everyone could actually from popular companies. Some could be companies which someone could not even heard of as of now, as of today. So coming from working from such companies, how far is it actually workable? Like if I say a company which is not popular, and let's say I've worked on Tosca, that really work out.
What are
the question?
It's completely depends on project. For
Yeah, I
example,
agree that.
it can be small company or big company. If the customer is saying, let's use Tosca, obviously we have to go with the Tosca. See, I have done many migrations, developments, even testing also, right? Irrespective of what tools you suggest, some of the clients, they say, hey, we already purchased this tool, you need to use this tool. And also licensing cost is not your company is not going to pay the license. It's a customer is going to pay the license. Okay, so they'll show what are the benefits when you go with the automation tools. Instead of developing in 30 days, maybe you can complete the work in 10 days. If you're showing those benefits or advantages with these tools, obviously customers will buy license. For customers, this license cost is very little. They don't bother much on licensing costs. So whether it is a small company or big company, anybody can use this Tosca.
Okay. So, if we consider popular tools like UFT or Selenium, Selenium is completely free of cost, and UFT is again a premium tool. So, when we already have some leading tools like this, in terms of free or with charges, what is making the business or the clients to leverage Tosca against these two? Is that only like quick in performing or executing the test cases, or any other factors that are there which we are not aware?
See, UFT is a very old tool, right?
Correct.
Uh, and if you compare the benefits, definitely you cannot compare these two tools. And with the Tosca, whatever the latest, I showed you, right, whether you can work with SAP, web or mobile or API testing, all are possible using, with a Tosca. But UFT, I don't think you will be able to do all those things.
Selenium has
So,
possibility.
Selenium, yes, Selenium, it's only web, okay, but
Right.
it is completely, programming and the learning curve is there. And I understand it's a, open source, but what if there is an issue, or if you need to work on that particular issue, you need to Google and you need to identify the fix for that. But
Yeah.
whereas this one, there is a dedicated team from Tosca or Tricentis. They are going to help you if there are any issues while you are testing the applications. So there is a support channel is available. So you need to go to the support.tricentis.com. There you will have all these things, or you can ask questions, whether questions asked by
Okay.
other people or questions asked by your company. Once you log into that with your company ID, you will be able to see all the information.
Is there any limitation? Let's say if I talk about web applications, will it be flexible for .NET based as well as
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It doesn't matter what technology behind the scenes. So all it needs is a website.
So Angular, everything it actually handles.
Yes, it handles.
Okay.
Okay. One more question from Srinivas. This tool supports only no code. It supports. See, 95% without a code, you will be able to achieve the functionality. And I'll show you in the demo so that you will get more clarity. So we are running out of time as well. So let me. It's 7:42. So shall I go ahead with the demo? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So okay. So let me explain simple business scenario how specifically customers will come to these IT companies. So let me explain a simple business scenario here, and then we will understand how IT companies work with the customer on this particular scenario. So let's assume there is a school website. Now school management wants to know the parents' opinion on sending their kids to school or not. This is a simple survey feature, like how I sent this pre-training survey link. They can send that option. But let's say, business, let's say the school management wants to keep this option available on the particular website. Okay. So once client, comes up with a simple requirement, this is a simple requirement. So different teams from IT company, they come into the picture and they roll out this feature. And there are different stages in delivering this feature. So, there are different roles, right? For example, as a user, when I open school website, what information I should see in that particular feature? As a student, if I log in, or as a parent, if I log in, maybe I want to, see my kids' information. For example, if I have two kids, I want to see those two kids, and then I should have the option whether I need to send them to school or not, or whether it is an online class or maybe hybrid class. That option I should have. But as a teacher, if I log in, I should see all my class or all my students' information, and whether what option parents have selected. Or as a HOD, if I log in, I want to see all the classes or all the students' information and how many are opted for online, how many opted for hybrid. So the feature looks so simple, but behind the scene, there is a lot of work we need to do. Okay. And as a chairman, for example, if the school management, if they have different branches, they want to see all the different branches. Okay, this particular branch, how many they opted for online, or how many hybrid, how many offline, like that. Okay. So once they understand the requirement, the first thing is ideation. So here brainstorming will happen. They'll convert, or they'll come up with some ideas to solve this business problem. And then there will be business analyst who will discuss with the stakeholders and then they'll understand all the requirements, and then they'll explain, business analyst will explain the requirements to development and QA team. Okay, so that is in the requirements stage. And then design and development stage. So usually development team will work with the application architecture, and they'll work on the UI design, and then they'll develop the application. And QA will working at the same time. QA will work on the how to plan this test planning and then strategy, and after that they'll work on the developing test cases. So during the testing time, usually whenever there are any issues, development team will work. They first give the build to QA, and then they'll work on the bugs. At the same time, QA will execute the test cases, and then they'll identify the issues. They'll report the bugs, and they do the complete retesting once again until the bug-free build is released to the deployment environment. So deployment, nothing but you have a IT support team. They'll do the production deployment into specific environment, and then support and maintenance are the general activities. Okay, so this is how general SDLC. I went through this SDLC very quickly. Okay, now a deep understanding of this SDLC is out of scope. In general, we have different SDLC models. So we have waterfall model, we have V model, we have iterative. They're pretty old and not much used in nowadays. But right now, most of the companies, they are following agile way of developing and agile way of testing. They have the Scrum calls, retrospective meetings, and all those things are out of scope for our discussion. So our focus is on Tosca. So first demo. Okay, so we need to write the manual test cases, and then we need to execute the test cases. Just to save the time, I already created the test cases. This is the screenshot I placed in presentation. I hope you all can see this Excel, right? So test case ID, what's the test case description, and what's the precondition? User must be registered already, and then we need to enter the valid username and password. And then we need to perform these test steps. Okay, so first one is we need to open the site. Okay, so expected outcome and actual outcome. Let me spread this. So what is the expected outcome when you open the site? For example, let's say, let me so this is the a demo site given by Tricentis. Most of the time we will work with this site only. So we will perform automation testing on this particular site, because in real time we should not perform testing on Amazon or Flipkart or any other popular websites right there. So that's why Tricentis gave this site. So this is a sample application developed by Tricentis. So for our automation with the Tosca, we use this site most of the time. And here, so when they click on login, so what's the first step? Okay, so open site, yes, expected outcome is it should open site. So actual outcome, yes, when you open the site, whether the site is open or not. So yes, sometimes developers, they give the URL, but as a tester, when you try to open the URL, it will not work. So that time you can say actual outcome, it didn't open the URL, it is fine. But in our case, it opened. Successfully, and it is passed. Okay, so you waited for until page loads. Yes, this is also passed. This is a simple step. Sorry. Just to in the interest of time and not entering all the comments here, you need to go to the login page. So this is how usually testers will maintain this Excel, and as per these steps, they're going to follow the activities. They'll click on the login link, and then they'll give the login. This is also pass, and input username. So and then you need to give the password. You also need to give them and this one is also pass. You need to give the password, and once you click on login, it should successfully log in into this particular site. So that's how usually, we maintain this Excel, and then we do the manual testing. Okay. And sorry, I was a little bit quick on this one because I wanted to show demo on the automation testing as well. And now, yeah, this one is over. So automation testing. Now in this demo, we are going to write automated test case. So whatever we have done using manual test case, let's try to do it using automation testing. Okay. So here, let me quickly create a folder. Automation testing. I'll explain you. Just I'm doing this demo just to show you how it's work, and then login scenario. Or else I'll do one thing. I'll take this one tomorrow. Okay. So let's go to, yeah. So here we discussed example business scenario, software lifecycle, and manual testing demo we did. Automation testing demo I'll show you, but I completed one this first week assignment. I'll talk about this one and I'll run this one. Okay, this is also exactly similar to this one. This is pretty much advanced compared to this one. Okay. Okay, so this is the first week assignment. Within next 7 days or in next 5 classes, you all will be able to automate testing of placing an order end to end in any e-commerce website. But don't try to create in any Flipkart or Amazon. So this is the website. So here we have option to go through some electronics, select any particular item, and then you can add that particular item to add to cart. So here we don't have add to cart option. Let's go to books. So here you have the add to cart option. Select this particular item, and here you have add to cart, and you can see this shopping cart information, and you need to enter the shipping address. So this is a general how you generally place order in Flipkart or Amazon. Okay, so let me close this browser, and then I'll do one thing. So this is the one, right? So let me right click on this test scenario and then run this. Okay, I'm not doing anything. Let's see how it's going to perform the automation testing. So first one, it opened a demo.tricentis. It clicked on login and it gave username and password. Login button successful. Add to cart. And here they are selecting what's the processor quantity, and then they clicked on add to cart. They clicked on shopping cart, checkout, and then they are giving the billing address details, continue. And then they are going to give the shipping address, continue, what is the shipment method, and then payment method, continue, payment information, and then confirming the order. So once they confirm the order, they are clicking on order details. So here I just gave couple of minutes break. I think you can see that here. So just 10 seconds I gave pause here, so that it is I want to show you this one complete scenario here. So this is the complete order information. Okay, 10 seconds is over. It clicked on logout and it will close the browser. Okay, so if you look at what automation steps we performed, we opened e-commerce website. Okay, so that's one thing we did, and we clicked on login link and we entered login credentials and clicked on continue. We browse the items, and you can select any item and provide additional details about that particular item, like what is the processor, all that information. And then you can specify the quantity, and you can click on add to cart, and click on shopping cart to see the details. Proceed with checkout, specify and confirm billing and shipping address, choose shipping and payment method, confirm order, log out, and close process. All these automation steps I think we completed within a minute time. Okay, so that's the beauty of automation testing. And literally with a zero coding, I completed all these activities. So what I can promise you is within next 5 days, you all will be able to complete this activity. And then, maybe in the interviews or maybe in your resume, you can keep any e-commerce application. I mean, I don't say any e-commerce application. Obviously, you cannot keep a Flipkart or Amazon, but in many websites, you have this login functionality and these login scenarios or registration. All those things are available. So in the interviews, you can say, yes, I worked on this login scenario or registration scenario, this complete registration module, login module. I did automation using Tosca. You can say that. Okay. So let me, run once again this one. And also there's a scratch book. You can see all the information here. See here. So how much time it has taken? 0.046. Okay, this is the time taken. And this one, see here, wait for 10 seconds, but I actually gave 15 seconds. So this is the name I gave. Okay. And last, I waited for 5 seconds and then I clicked on close browser. So let me run this once again. Or else let me open all these steps. So this is the open e-commerce site. So this is the URL. So I gave and clicked on login, and then login credentials, email and password, and then browse items. I clicked on browse items, add to cart. And then what is the processor? I clicked on it. And what is the quantity? And then clicked on checkout, billing address, shipping address, shipment method, payment details, confirm order, and then click here for order details, and then wait for 10 seconds. It's a 15 seconds actually here. 10 seconds. And then clicking on logout, wait for 5 seconds, and then close browser. So let me run this one more time, or else, now I will not give this time. I'll give just 1 second so that you will see it very quickly. Okay, again run. So it opened the browser. Login, username and password. Add to cart. Processor, quantity, add to cart. Now this will be different order details. It will immediately click on logout. See here now, because I changed to 1 second. So this is the overall scratch information. Okay. So this, we already went through it. So you all will be able to complete this task within the first week, maybe during the weekend or maybe next Monday. Okay. So let me match this. So in general FAQs, so these are some of the questions I got from my previous batches. What is 100% cashback within 7 days? So I showed you some first week assignment, right? If you follow my instructions and if you follow daily tasks, what I give, and if you are not able to do that first week assignment, I'm more than happy to return that, your training fee. Okay. So that's why I gave this option 100% cashback within 7 days. And the daily quiz and the training materials. Let me show you some of the training materials I'm planning to do. So hands-on labs. See, this is the Tosca workshop, hands-on lab, step by step, right? So in general, whenever we work with Tosca, first we need to create a workspace. It is, similar to how we create a folder in our file explorer. So once we create a folder, we create a files and then we will work with the files, right? Similarly in Tosca, first you need to create a workspace to work on any project. So this is how I'm giving step-by-step instructions. You need to click on start and Tosca. So there is a Tosca commander. So commander is there. If you don't see Tosca commander, please go through the installation guide first and then click on create new. So there are different options. And this is how I'm trying to create these step-by-step instruction material. This I haven't done for my previous batches, but now I'm doing this one. For example, if you already have the workspace, see very detailed steps. If you have the workspace already created, then you can skip task 1. You can directly jump to task 2. That is open existing workspace. So from creating the workspaces and then opening the existing workspaces and then doing exercises, all these things I'm trying to create these materials. And end of the class, I'm going to share this or that particular session material. Okay, so that is a one thing. And and the other one is a daily quiz. So based on the topic that we are discussing, I'm going to ask some questions end of the class. Or maybe I'll send some survey link to you so that you can fill that survey, because those questions are very important. Um, I collected some of the questions from my previous batch students because they attended a couple of interviews, right? Based on those interviews and based on my experience, what I generally ask in interviews. So based on that, I am going to prepare daily quiz. So that will be, very much useful for you guys. But the only thing is you need to complete whatever the task I do or I do at session. You also need to do the same task at home. That is very, very important. And the third question generally, ask is, I'm from non-IT background, will I be able to learn this Tosca? Yes, you will be able to learn it. You no need to think much on that because Tosca is completely scriptless. You without writing single line of code. I showed you right just now one end-to-end execution, how you can place order. With zero coding, you will be able to complete it in next to 5 days. Okay. With the BSc background, is there any possibility to get the job? Yes, many people with a BSc background or non-IT background, they got the jobs. And course duration and start date. So from tomorrow onwards, actual process is going to start, and the course duration is 30 days. Okay. And can you please talk about interview questions and certification guidance? See, interview questions mostly I'll cover through daily quiz. And again, I'll take last session for completely on the interview questions. And also there are test automation specialist 1, test automation specialist 2. 2 certifications are there. So I'll make sure you all guys, 100%. 100% means it's not 100% score, but you will be, I'll make sure, you guys are going to pass that particular certification, those 2, automation specialist 1 and automation specialist 2. Okay. And next steps, tomorrow, mostly I'll talk on the installation and license activation. But before that, you need to, block your seat because I need to generate the licenses for this Tosca. And then I'll share those licenses keys with you. And also I'll share that, Tosca installation setup file. So you need to have that setup file. And also before the session, I'll share this licenses keys as well. So I'll show you how you need to install. I'll take one particular system from one of the students, and then whatever the steps I do, you can do the same steps to install Tosca and then license activation. And the timings are from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. And if any topic I'll not be able to complete in 1 hour, then I'll extend the session for maybe 15 to 30 minutes because certain topics I cannot close in 1 hour. So that requires some additional time. Okay. So those things I'll take a little bit extra time, and duration is 30 days time. Okay. And, uh, you can see the primary objective, right? I want to give, or I want to share complete real-time knowledge with the 80% demos and 20% theory, because these demos are practical demos that you can directly or straight away use in your projects. I mean, it's again based on the project requirement. I'm not saying whatever I say you are going to do it there only, but login functionality, registration functionality, or this creating an order, or how to identify different elements, how to give the input to all the elements. All those things we can learn slowly in coming lessons. Okay. And ultimately, the guidance I give you, not only technical knowledge, with the guidance I give you, finally, you should be able to get the job. That is my main objective of this training. Okay. And also I'll explain one real-time project. Of course, it's not a very huge project, but it's a very simple project. And I'll take one session, maybe 2 hours a session. There I'll explain end-to-end project execution with the concepts that we learn during these 30 days. Okay. So, and if you have any questions, and if you want to reach me, you can WhatsApp me on this number. You can note down this number and you can WhatsApp me. See, calls, because I also, have office work, right? I'll be available on WhatsApp, and sometimes even if you call me, I'll not be able to answer call. But what I'm planning to do from this batch is I'm going to, keep two resources to support you guys. Those two resources are from my previous batches, and they know me very well. So they are going to support you guys on a dedicated hours. For example, maybe morning 9 to 10 or 9 to 11, or maybe evening 4 to 6, like that. And if you have any questions, you can ask the questions to them. They'll be able to help. And also I'm going to create a WhatsApp group, so that in that group, whoever confirms their seat, they can join that group, and you can ask questions there, and your questions will be answered. But ask the questions which I cover in my session, because I'm not going to give any job support here. But if you want job support, definitely, I can guide you, or I can give you right contacts. Even during the interview processes also, I can give you the right contacts. So don't, if at all, if you face any real time, let's say you are working on any project, if it is related to our concept, yes, you can ask. Definitely, we are happy to answer those questions. And if you require any dedicated support on your projects, I can share you some contacts. They'll help you. Okay. It's already 8, and any questions? Tomorrow, what I do is I stopped one demo using Tosca, right? So that I'll complete, and also installation I'll complete, and also make sure in tomorrow's demo also, I'm not going to explain in detail. In the next coming session, maybe from Wednesday onwards, I'll explain each and everything from basic level.
Yeah, I have a few generic questions in this, Pradeep, if time permits. In the middle, so in between the session, you were mentioning e-commerce site. You can actually portray it as an e-commerce site. So is this tool widely targeted for e-commerce site only, or is there anything?
No, it's not for the e-commerce site. You can, I'll show you, because there are some insurance applications. The reason I'm telling is, whatever the application currently we are, doing during these sessions. So that is one thing you can keep, and there are some insurance websites we are going to work on. So you can say, you worked on insurance domain, and this is what we have done, because it's not the one client, right? The insurance, when you take, it's a very huge domain. So It's not that you are going to say you worked on only e-commerce
Okay.
application or Tosca is
Mhm.
going to support e-commerce applications.
So yeah, the reason why I asked is you specifically mentioned not to try on any other sites, just try on only this Tricent site, something
See,
like that.
okay,
For testing, I mean, for practice purpose.
correct. For practice purpose, yes, you need to try on these sites. There are two sites, given by Tricentis. One is insurance related. One is this demo web shop. Okay,
Mhm.
and if you want to try some sample website, for example, don't try on Amazon because there is a lot of security, right? You take some small e-commerce websites and you can test it, or you
Oh,
can
okay,
take
that
any
sounds
school
good.
websites, you can test it.
Mhm.
That will not be a problem.
Okay. And since this being a licensed tool, how are we actually going to manage the practice sessions in our
See,
laptops during the sessions? Yeah.
okay, so in tomorrow's demo, what I'm going to do is first I'm going to share the software with you and
Mhm.
then license keys also with you. Okay, in
Mhm.
tomorrow's demo, I'll show you how you can install that particular software and then how you need to activate licenses in your local machine.
Okay. So, yeah, sorry to have this even drilled more.
No problem.
Yeah. So this is a license tool. So like any other tools, we're gonna have it the cracked versions and all, and continue. That's
No,
how it is
this
gonna.
is not a cracked version. So you need to work with a Tricentis to generate these license keys. And also these license keys expires in 58 days, I think.
Okay.
So if there is any change, I need to see. So once the license keys are expired, I'm going to share license keys once again. So definitely you
Okay.
will get, keys for next 4 months.
Okay.
So if you learn properly for next 30 days, I'm damn sure, you will be able to get the job in next 1 or 2 months. But the only important thing here is you need to practice and you need to put effort from your side as well.
Okay. So my next question is. Okay, so the environment that we are going to work with the key and all is similar to the similar environment that that is being used in the real time, right?
Correct.
Okay, and so you
See,
have first.
one small deviation, the tool and the features that you are working is 100% same. But in real time, instead of one person, group of team members are going to work, right? For example, let's say you have a Word document in your file explorer. It's in your local machine. What if other person also wants to work with the same document? Maybe you will upload that document to your Google Drive, and then you will share the document and you give contribute access to him, right? Then you both will be able to work on the document, correct? So in the same way, whenever you create a Tosca related files here, there will be a common repository. That is what multi-user workspace. Okay. But during the sessions, we will use single user workspace, but in the real time, it will be multi-user workspace. But the
Okay, so
interface, the features you are going to work, and how you are going to run the test cases, everything same. It's only repository is different. Okay, instead of
okay,
saving file in your local machine, there is already repository created. Just you need to access that repository. That's it.
okay, okay. Uh, so while you were actually demonstrating the automated workflow,
Mhm.
so we have there were several objects that were been identified and clicked. So those object identification is similar, like finding the XPath, and that part is same here as
Okay, you are
bit
comparing with
different.
Selenium, right?
Any other tool. So
Yeah,
over there we
it can be any other tool.
right.
See, in Selenium, if you need to identify the X path, you need to identify the complete path and you need to put in the coding right.
Correct.
But here, there is a scanning option is available. With that scanning option, you can simply select that particular object and then
Oh,
you will be able to get that complete X path information in your tool. Okay.
so
I'll tell you the best practices as well because
okay,
it's not a good idea to use XPath always. There are
okay,
different properties.
Okay.
Because I'm also from the development background, I have complete knowledge on those controls as well. For example, if it is the text box, what type of properties are there? If it is a button, what type of properties? I will show you in detail what
Okay.
are the different technical properties or what are the X path, where it comes. That we will discuss all those things.
Okay. And so, so this means Tosca is not. I mean, I'm not degrading. So in-house print, in sprint automation is not possible here, right?
In sprint automation,
Huh.
in
So these
sprint
days,
automation, I need to check that.
okay, because these days, many a lot of companies are actually trying to have that in sprint automation instead of having the previous sprint. Like usually, what we do is
See, when you say sprint, because sprint is completely project management, right?
right.
It's not related with any specific automation tool. You are going to, select what are the features you are going to develop and release to the customer. So those features only you need to test, right?
Right, right, including like see, usually one sprint behind will there will be automation up to date, right? So current sprint, the automation part won't be taking place. The current sprint release, everything will be manually, signed off. You agree with that? So
Yes.
so nowadays they were wanting to have the in sprint also to have automated. Even before the code is developed, everything they wanted to understand what objects are are being implemented. So they have to so that sense I'm asking. So,
I'll check that with you because
okay.
right now we are going to work with a version 14.3, but currently most of the companies they are using a 13 version. But I always recommend n-1 version whenever we are learning anything,
Okay.
because going forward all the companies they need to upgrade or move their projects to older version to this newer version. So most of the time it will compatible, it will automatically support to work with even earlier version project files as well. Okay, so we are going to work with 14.3. Now Tosca released the 15th version also. So I need to see this in sprint option is available or not.
So the one last question. So can we quickly have a glance at what is behind this whatever you showed, the test cases, right? Test suite test cases you showed. What is behind that? Like if I say Selenium, we'll see the codes and all.
So this is what you have. You are not going to have anything else. Okay. So this is the modules. These are the important. Okay. There are some standard modules, user defined modules. We will discuss these things later. Okay. And here, you mentioned XPath, right? For example, for every control, if I select that particular control, this is a logout link, right? For example, there is a scan option. Let me right click. So here you have the scan option. You can scan application, API, mobile, or PDF. You can even do PDF comparison also in Tosca.
Okay.
So you can click on scan application. So once you click on scan application, this is how it captures the image. For example, see this one. So here you see the image, right? So it will take that particular. Okay, it is not showing. It is going up. I don't think. So let me share this particular screenshot so that I can share in WhatsApp group. So it takes that particular image and then it identifies that particular control. For example, checkout confirmation. So here you have the checkout and shopping cart. See here shopping cart link, and you see this. So it captures the image. One is by image. There are different ways to identify the objects. Okay, all those controls are identified first, and then we are going to use those objects in the test cases. Okay. So for example, here there are some, I told you there are some standard and user defined modules. So open URL is the standard module.
Okay.
So here you need to give the URL and then login link. So there are two options here for login. So click and right click. Usually we do only these two things right on the button. Either we do left click or right click. Okay.
Okay.
So you will not have any coding here, like, you cannot compare with Selenium here. So there is no X bar. Whenever we are scanning the elements, I'll show you what are the different properties, how we can identify the property. And then where we are going to use the images. I'll explain.
So in the beginning, you said 95% is non-code, and if I ask like what is that 5%, will that be simply JavaScript or?
Yeah, JavaScript.
Okay. Okay. And I hope we'll cover that as well, right?
JavaScript portion, yes. Wherever it is required, yes, I'll cover that.
Yeah, I am done.
Okay. So anyone have any other questions? Geetika, why actually Tosca as Selenium is free of cost? See, Geetika, one thing is when you go with the Selenium, okay, just thinking how to answer this question. I already explained a few things, right? The Selenium, it's a lot of learning curve. How many people are going to, learn that particular Selenium? Because it is, programming, and most of the people, they may not have the programming skills. Okay, that's one thing. And there is a huge demand. That is another thing. And also, if you are going to write the programming, obviously there will be some mistakes, but if it is a tool, it is completely well tested. Okay, so that is another thing. And the Selenium, there is no direct support for Selenium. It's just open source, and for many things you need to Google, and you need to, on your own way, you need to find the solution. But whereas Tosca, there is a dedicated team. So all those things comes into picture whenever we are choosing any particular tool, and specifically in this case, it's a Tosca. And from the cost perspective, many clients, they want to, some noise I'm getting. Pradeep, can you please mute that?
Sorry.
So, yes, Selenium is free of cost. Tosca is licensed. But the productivity, when you look, you can complete the task using Tosca maybe within 10 days of development. But whereas Selenium, it will take time actually to develop. But clients may hire people who are good at programming. See, more than programming and more than specific tool, the client expectation is how early we are going to release the build to the customer, how early you are going to give the product. For example, you're trying to order something in Amazon. When it is going to deliver, that's the first thing. Many times I checked whether it is going to deliver tomorrow or 2 days or maybe 1 week. If it is 1 week, I'm sure I'm not going to order. I mean, that's my perception. Similarly, from the client perspective, yes, having programming skills, it's an advantage, but the primary thing clients are going to look at is how soon they are going to release the product, bug-free product. That is important. So at that time, when they compare these two tools, so Selenium and then Tosca, clients, obviously, they'll not worry about the cost. They'll worry about how soon they are going to, deliver the product. That is important. Anybody have any other questions? Okay, I think we can stop here. Okay, so we can stop here. So anybody wants to, reach me on, once you confirm your sheet, I'll share the, software keys and then that software. So tomorrow's session is mainly on installation, and then I'll show you the demo, what I promised today. Okay.
Did we all have you already shared about the fee structure and all? Sorry, I missed maybe probably.
Fee structure I didn't share. I'll maybe I can share you in WhatsApp group, or else whoever contacted, I can share with them.
Okay. The same number you shared here, right? You're sharing
Yes.
it.
Yes.
So we are talking to Vijay, right? Not Prashant.
Yes, Vijay.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Thank you. Thank you all. Thanks for your time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.